कृत्वा नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत् शृण्वत्यां स्वकदः कृष्णः पुण्यश्रवणकीर्तनः हृदयस्कन्धो ह्यभद्राणि विधुनोति सुहृत्सात्सं नष्टप्रायेष्वभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवत्युत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी. Today I'm going to read from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 4, Chapter 1, verse 31 to 37. अतस्मात् सम्भूतास्ते आत्मजो लोकविश्रुताः भवितारङ्गो भद्रं ते विस्वप्सयन्ति च ते यशः. The translation: You will have who will represent a partial manifestation of our potency. And because we desire all good fortune for you, those sons will glorify your reputation throughout the world. Sloka 32. Text 32. Evam kamavaram dattva pratijagmuhu sureswaraha sabhajitastayo samyak dampartayo mishto tataha. Thus, while the couple looked on, the three deities, Brahma, Vishnu, and Maheshwara, disappeared from that place after bestowing upon Atri Muni the benediction. Text 33. Somabhut Brahmano Smena Datto Vishnostu Yogvavit Durvashaha Sankarashyamso Nibodharangitha Prajaha. The translation. Thereafter, from the partial representation of Brahma, the moon god was born of them. From the partial representation of Vishnu, the great mystic Dattatreya was born. And from the partial representation of Shankara, Lord Shiva, Durvasa was born. Now, you may hear from me of the many sons of Angira. Text 34. Shraddhatva Tangirasaha Patnihi Chatrasro Suta Kanyakaha Sinivali Kuhu Raka Chaturthi Anmatistata. The translation. Angira's wife Shraddha gave birth to 4 daughters named Sinivali, Kuhu, Raka, and Anumati. Text 35. Tatputra Vapra Astam Khyatu Swarvachisantare Uttadyo Bhagavan Sakshat Brahmishtah Brahaspatihi. The translation. Beside these 4 daughters, she also had 2 sons. One of them was Uttatya, and other was the learned scholar Brahaspati. Text 36. Pulasyo Janayat Patnyam Agastyam Cha Harir Bhuvi Sonyo Janmani Dahangir Visravascha Mahatapaha. Translation. Pulasya begot in his wife Harir-Bhu one son of the name Agastya, who in his next birth became Dhaharagni. Besides him, Pulasya begot another very great and saintly son, whose name was Visrava. Tasya Yakshapatirdevaha Kuberasvi Idavidasutaha Ravanah Kumbhakarnascha cha Tadyastanam Vibhishanaha. The translation. Visrava had 2 wives. The first wife was Idavida, from whom Kuvera, the master of all yakshas, was born. And the next wife was named Keshini, from whom 3 sons were born: Ravana, Kumbhakarna, and Vibhishana. Om Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Srimati Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namine, Namaste Saraswate Devi Gauravani Pracharine, Nirvishesha Sunyavadi Paschata Deshatarine, Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda, Sri Advaita Gadadara Sri Vasadi Gauravrukta Vanda, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Dear devotees, I would like to seek blessings from all the assembled Vaishnavas and thank you for giving me an opportunity to purify myself. Please forgive me for any shortcomings. I just want to summarize the 7 texts that I just read from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 4, Chapter 1. Some of the purport was taken from Sri Gauranga Das Prabhuji from one of his lecture, and I will briefly go through the summary. So for Atri Muni couple, all 3 gods blessed, saying that our partial expansions will come as our sons, which means we will born again as your sons, which Lord Vishnu, Brahma, and Maheshwara spoke. Likewise, Atri Muni and Anasuya has got 3 sons. Uh, Before narrating about Atri Muni, I would like to emphasize on one more living being, and this is from Gajendra Moksham. Now, everyone know in Gajendra Moksham, Gajendra offered prayers to the Lord to save him from the crocodile. While Gajendra was praying offers, all the demigods considered, why is this animal praying now? He did not pray for a long time. And all demigods thought, why should we appear and protect this animal? However, on the contrary, the demigods thought that the Supreme Lord will not be pleased easily, and then he will not come to rescue the animal. But the whole aspect of the demigod thinking was not true. As soon as Gajendra started praying to the Supreme Lord heard prayers and he ran towards Gajendra so fast that even Garuda could not match his pace. So just the Supreme Lord appeared and protected Gajendra. All demigods realized, hey, we thought that this will never happen. But still, the Supreme Lord came and rescued Gajendra. Even demigods came there, accepted their offense, apologized to the Lord and also to Gajendra. One thing that really wonderstruck is, as I already mentioned, Gajendra never offered prayers. However, when Gajendra started offering prayers, he remembered these prayers from his past life. And while praising to the Lord, he was really describing the Lord in his prayers. He memorized it, which means Gajendra in his previous life was a pure devotional devotee. And because of that, Lord came and helped. However, Gajendra had a curse from Agastya Muni. That is why he took the shape of elephant. So during this Gajendra Moksham, the Lord reminded him of the prayer, and by the mercy of the Lord appeared and rescued Gajendra. Now, there is one more aspect which even was mentioned in case of Nabihi. Even the Nabi also had the desire of getting a son as a Supreme Lord. Likewise, the Atri Muni. The only difference here is Nabi has an understanding of the Supreme Lord and it's a great devotee of the Lord and a great worshipper of Brahmanas. These Brahmanas whom Nabi employed as a priest of his sacrifice, and they were not an ordinary devotee. Pleased with the worship of Nabihi, all the Brahmanas offered prayer to the Lord and showed Supreme Lord to Nabihi. This way, Nabi was glorified as a greater worshipper of the Brahmanas. Now, the level of devotion Nabi has is very much different than Atri Muni. Later, Nabi developed Vatsalya towards the Lord. Now, while we mention about Nabihi, we should not undermine the devotion of Atri Muni. Even Atri Muni also had a material desire. While he did not have a sufficient understanding of the Supreme Lord, he is also one of the important sages. There is always a state that one may not complete the understanding of the Lord. We only know so far about this Atri Muni, and we only know so far about this about Atri Muni. Now, as we saw the example of Atri Muni, we even see whoever performs some austerities with material desire, with has an incomplete understanding of the Lord. Now, Nabihi and his understanding of the Lord, likewise Dhruva has also guidance of the Lord and practiced very sincerely, even though he had initially in his life had a material motivations, later he was purified by his devotion. Now, coming back to Bhagavatam, Canto 8, Chapter 3 and Text 25, as we all heard about the Gajendra Moksham. In the current life where Gajendra was living, he said, Lord, I do not want to live in this animal body after the Supreme Lord rescued from crocodile. Now, we all know that liberation can be offered by the Supreme Lord. And overall prayer that is being performed or that is being chanted by or sung by the Gajendra, the Lord was pleased. And it was again a wonderful description of the Supreme Lord. We all need to know that the liberation is offered by the Supreme Lord and not by any other demigods. We also saw in text 37 there were three brothers. Sorry, there were four brothers: Kubera, Ravana, Kumbhakarna, and Vibhishana. Now, even though Ravana and Kubera were brothers, Ravana was a demon. We already know that, but he's again a great devotee. And Ravana is none other than one of the disciples of Lord Vishnu, Jai Vijaya. In the process of Ravana, and in this process, Ravana has stolen the Pushpak Vimana of Kubera. And still, even though Kubera did not have any enmity towards Ravana, it's Ravana who had enmity towards Kubera. I want to end this summary with a small prayer which we already know, which is again from Gautamiya Tantra. Om Agnana Timirandasya Gnananchana Shalakaya Chakshurum Nilitam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. I offer my respectful obeisances unto my spiritual master, who, with his torchlight of knowledge, has opened my eyes, which were blinded by darkness of ignorance. Although one may struggle for existence in a material world, to live forever is impossible. One must understand, however, that the struggle for existence is due to ignorance, for otherwise every living being is an eternal part of the Supreme Lord. Now, there is no need to live as an elephant or a man, an American or an Indian. One should desire only to achieve liberation from the cycle of birth and death. Because of ignorance, we consider every life offered by nature to be happy and pleasing. But in the degraded life within the material world, from the life of Lord Brahma down to that of an ant, no one can actually be happy. We are making so many plans to live happily, but there cannot be any happiness in this material world. However, we may try to make a permanent settlement in life by chanting the name of the Supreme Lord.